The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello everyone, this is Vanish from WSI ALM, bringing you yet another edition of the LaunchPad webinar series. Today is the 10th of December, and I am joined with my colleague Armando this week. Armando is fully recovered, so Armando is joining us for this LaunchPad session. Terrific. All right.
Good morning, everyone.
Great. Excellent. Let's get started. So our format's the usual. We start with the latest news and articles of the week, all the latest news that made headlines, and then we move on to tool of the week. We try and review exciting tools every week for the ICs, and this week we have another exciting a tool that's related to link prospecting and link building. Link prospecting is a pretty important aspect for link building. That's pretty much, I'd say, half the work, trying to find good quality links so that you can build backlinks for your website or your client's website. So we have a fantastic tool that we'd be reviewing today that can assist you in the whole prospecting side of link building. And then, of course, we finish off with a nice Q&A session. Great. Moving along, again, we start with our very own Matt Cutts. He's in the news every week. He's actually been a lot in the news lately. Google's been making a lot of official statements with regards to the algorithm, and Matt Cutts in particular has been pretty active in his blog and his videos, talking about a lot of hot topics that are out there, debunking a lot of myths, reaffirming a lot of information that we already know. So he's been a lot in the news. And he made a recent video, this was a couple of days back, where he's warned sites against taking copied content from multiple sites. So this practice was quite prevalent. I think it's definitely reduced over the last couple of years or so, but this practice was very prevalent where you'd have websites that would just take pieces of content. It's kind of like Wikipedia, where you have multiple authors that are citing different sources, and they're putting together a full page of information. So it's kind of like Wikipedia, but this copied content from multiple sites was not of the same level of the quality as Wikipedia. So you'd have, like, let's say, an e-commerce website, or you'd have just a regular website. They'd have a product on a page, and in order to get you information on that product, what they basically do is that instead of coming up with original content, they just copy content, whether it's the product description, the product reviews, etc. They just copy it from like multiple sources and put that on the site. So Matt Cutts came out with an official statement on his blog saying that the whole aspect, the whole activity of stitching copied content from multiple sites, putting that on your site, putting that on your page, and showcasing it as unique content is not recommended. So he's made an official statement there, so it's not good to stitch copied content together and come up with your own content. Just try and stick with original content for you to do well in Google. The link to the full article is there at the bottom. It was a Search Engine Watch article that was showcased showcased on Search Engine Watch. Great, moving on. So yeah, it's Cyber Monday 2013. As we'd mentioned, Black Friday was huge in North America. It was the first billion-dollar day when it came to online sales. Sales hit 1.1 billion on Friday, and Cyber Monday was no different. As a matter of fact, Cyber Monday 2013 has gone down in history as being the most profitable day, I guess, for retailers in terms of total volume of transactions. There was $1.7 billion worth of transactions that actually took place on Cyber Monday in 2013, making it the biggest grossing Cyber Monday of all time. Great news for us that there's a huge economy online, which you all know about. It's only growing. Cyber Monday reaffirms that $1.7 billion in a single day, as far as online spends are concerned, is a pretty huge number. And I'm pretty sure some of the ICs have clients that are in this vertical of online retailing or online shopping that probably took advantage of Cyber Monday. But essentially, it's gone down in history as the biggest Cyber Monday till date ever seen online, with $1.7 billion in transactions. Great. So moving along, the Google Webmaster Tools again has been making a lot of updates off late, and they've been trying to make things better. They've been trying to make things better for the webmasters. They've been providing more information on your website once you verify it in the Webmaster Tools, and the whole idea is to give you a lot of qualitative information on your website so that you're making Google's job easier in terms of indexing your site easier, indexing your site properly, giving you the necessary position that your site deserves when it comes to Google's rankings. So Webmaster Tools is enabling all of this for us, and Google wants to have Webmaster Tools more empowered, more enabled, so as to help us to communicate with Google's bots better and get our sites indexed properly and effectively. So what they've now done is that based on feedback that they receive from people, because again, the whole idea is mobile's increasing. There's a lot of spends that are taking place as far as the whole mobile side of online marketing is concerned. We've had tons of stats. Eric Cook's great presentations at E&I, and then his ongoing data when it comes to the usage of mobile. I mean, everything's pointing in the direction of mobile only going one way, and that's up. So based on feedback in terms of smartphone crawl errors, the Google Webmaster Tools has come up with this updated crawl error information where they are now reporting smartphone crawl errors for your website. So previously, you'd be checking your website on different devices and hoping and praying that everything's okay, and potentially looking at some crawl errors for smartphones, but the whole testing was really related to desktop usage. So now Google's made that a little bit easier for us, because in Webmaster Tools, if the Google bot encounters any crawl errors when it comes to indexing the mobile version of your website, it's going to identify, detect these errors, and bring these errors to your attention so you can fix it. And some of the enhancements that they've done include like server errors, not found errors, faulty redirects, or blocked URLs. So if you have any of these errors that are related to smartphones in particular, Google Webmaster Tools is now going to send across a warning, and you can look at the errors and then fix them. So this is again an endeavor from Google so as to make mobile browsing that much more user-friendly and make mobile browsing a very positive experience for the mobile users. They're obviously seeing that number rise every day, which is the reason why they're taking steps and initiatives in that direction so as to make the whole mobile experience a lot better for the users. Great. So everybody is waiting for this news. When would Google Plus start monetizing their social media property? The Google Plus has been increasing month on month, year on year, as being a very significant social media property that we cannot ignore. More so because Google Plus is directly related to organic activity. Various studies on the online industry have shown that having a good Google Plus page, having a good social profile in Google Plus, having a lot of pluses in your account, having a good strong identity, utilizing Google authorship that also is linked with your Google Plus account, all relate to positive signals when it comes to high rankings at Google. And that's been one of the biggest areas for Google Plus's growth, because marketers can no longer choose to ignore Google Plus and just concentrate on Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram, etc. Google Plus has become a really important social media property to reckon with. And up till now, there was no sort of monetization that Google had put forward when it came to your Google Plus account. So Google's recently launched Plus Post Ads. Now, they've launched Plus Post Ads with a very select few advertisers right now. They're testing this out. It's primarily display advertising that they've launched with the Plus Post Ads. And the whole opportunity with the Plus Post Ads is that the ads can be showcased on Google's content or their display network, and your display ads can now be showcasing your Google Plus profile. So the example that we've showcased over here is Toyota's ad, Toyota USA, and this is basically the Google Plus page. So they've come up with this display ad that's being showcased in Auto Trader, which is a huge auto website in North America for buying and selling cars. And Toyota's ad is being displayed over here. And then if you click to expand, it showcases Toyota's Google Plus page and information related to that page. So, the number of pluses, you can see there's about 28 pluses, which kind of is very low, that Toyota's page has. And then if you click to expand, you can look at user reviews and other information that's associated with Toyota's Plus page. So you can now start advertising your Plus page directly with Plus post ads. And again, this is a limited offering that Google's launched with some high-profile advertisers in the US, but I'm pretty sure based on the success of this, they'd be launching this across the board in North America as well as in Europe. It's just a matter of time. But they've now started testing Plus post ads. They've finally monetized Google Plus and started to make money out of it. Great. Another interesting development this week was the Google Keyword Planner. So I'm sure all of you at some point in time have utilized Google's Keyword Planner for either keyword research for an SEO campaign, keyword research for prospects when you're going in to pitch to them, or keyword research for a PPC campaign that we want to launch for a client. So up till now, it was really sort of like guesswork when it came to trying to identify if a particular keyword was trademarked or not. And then you'd add in a trademark keyword and it got disapproved. You weren't really sure of what the reason was as to why the ad or the keyword was disapproved in your Google AdWords account. And then there'd be a lot of emails back and forth, and you'd be contacting Google support to try and understand why they'd paused that keyword. There was no logical reason for that. So what they've done now is that in Google's Keyword Planner, when you're doing a different sort of research when it comes to different keywords, whenever a keyword is trademarked, and when a particular keyword is trademarked, you have to basically prove to Google that it's trademarked. They ask you to provide your official trademark registration, etc., so as to protect that keyword. And so in this particular example, as you can see, Zappos, Staples, the Easy button, this is all trademarked, and there is a little TM symbol that's now appearing in the Keyword Planner against trademark keywords. Now, bear in mind that a trademark keyword doesn't mean that you cannot bid on the keyword. You can still bid on a trademark keyword, but if the party or the company that has trademarked that term complains about it, then your ad's going to be taken down and your ad's going to be disapproved. So bear in mind the fact that you can still advertise on trademark terms, but if the other party complains, then your ad's going to be disapproved. And the whole idea behind showcasing or showing this TM, the trademark logo against brand names, is so as to make the whole process of approving keywords more efficient. And as I mentioned to you in the past, they'd be disapproving a lot of trademark terms because the other party would be complaining, and then you'd be just left scratching your head trying to figure why was your ad or your keyword disapproved. And that's primarily because you're using a trademark term and the other company is not okay with it. So now they've basically come out with this. It's more official, it's more transparent. So if your ad does get disapproved for a trademark term, you can very well say that it's because of this particular reason. It's funny enough, the McDonald's catch line of "I'm loving it" is not being trademarked as displayed in this example. So that's kind of interesting. I'm sure a lot of people are going to be rushing to trademark, either submit their trademark certificates to Google or trademark some of the terms that are not showing up in the keyword planners as trademarked. So a good transparency by Google here. This is a really cool feature, very useful. Okay, so last week we showcased a tool that was called Builtwith. It's a fantastic tool, and for the ones that missed out on last week's webinar, I highly recommend that you actually look at this tool because it's a fantastic tool to give you preliminary information about your clients, your prospects' website without actually having to look at the content management system. It's a pretty cool competitive monitoring and a competitive analysis tool. Because you can actually get information on what sort of softwares, what sort of analytics tools, etc. is that website utilizing, hence giving you a sort of like an insight almost on how they're doing their online marketing and what kind of tools are they using to analyze their marketing activity and gauge the results. And you don't even need access, nothing. You just go to builtwithcom and you type in the URL and just hit enter, and it gives you a lot of qualitative information, a lot of useful, workable information about your competitors or your prospects. that you can showcase in your initial proposal and impress upon the prospect. So Builtwith, in relation to SEO Moz, Builtwith and SEO Moz did a study together because they wanted to understand what's powering the internet, and they wanted to answer a couple of very important questions and try and understand if there's any correlation to these three big questions with regards to organic rankings. Now the answer was a little disappointing for this study because they couldn't really find any correlation to these three aspects, whether it's hosting, the content management systems, and they're like, they were trying to answer questions like, if you host with GoDaddy, are you better organically? If you have WordPress, do you fare better organically? So they're trying to answer questions like this. So unfortunately, there was no determination of the answers. But what we found interesting at ALM that was coming out of this study was to see the popularity of different systems that are out there, and what's getting the most amount of business, what's really popular. So there's three really cool slides that we've showcased in this webinar for your information. The first one has to do with web hosting. So they took a look at about 1 million websites, and this was a random sampling of websites that they took. And what they saw out of the top 1 million websites was the fact that GoDaddy totally dominated the web hosting space. I mean, the closest competitor to GoDaddy was probably Rackspace, which is a lot more expensive than GoDaddy, but just goes on to show all that marketing that they do, with the fast cars and the pretty girls and Danica Patrick and everything. It all works because GoDaddy was killing the competition. So in their sample of 1 million websites, they looked at about 87,000 sites that were hosted with GoDaddy, and then their closest competitor was probably not even half of what GoDaddy is at in terms of the number of websites they're hosting. Rackspace at 37,000, followed by Bluehost. Bluehost and Rackspace pretty competitive. And then you had like the other companies like SoftLayer and Amazon. Amazon's very popular with governments because Amazon's developed some proprietary systems. They've developed hosting servers. I mean, for everybody's information, the CIA, the Central Intelligence Agency, actually hosts with Amazon, and they've built proprietary special systems for Amazon. From Amazon so as to host their websites, and their entire network is actually done by Amazon. Jeff Bezos talked about that in his latest interview in 60 Minutes that was showcased, I believe, a couple of weeks back, where I think some of you might have seen those drones that he showcased in his 60 Minutes interview, where these drones are going to basically reduce delivery to 30 minutes. You place an order, and that's what they're testing right now. You place an order on Amazon, there's a drone from a fulfillment center that picks up your package, flies over to your residence, and drops the package right in front of your doorstep, which is just crazy. And that's going to reduce the delivery time to 30 minutes from the click of your mouse when you order that product to that product being delivered to your residence. Just insane. So Amazon's doing well, but GoDaddy just beats everybody. Here's another interesting slide. So moving on. Content management systems. So they looked at content management systems, again with the idea of trying to look at any sort of a correlation with content management systems and organic rankings. They couldn't find any correlation in the two, but what's interesting to see is how dominant WordPress is as a CMS. I mean, you would have thought that Joomla would be close, perhaps even Drupal, nowhere close. WordPress just kills the content management systems. With over 20% of the survey that was done belonging to WordPress as in terms of sites hosting their content management system with WordPress. And then Joomla is next. Joomla and Drupal pretty close to each other, 29,000 and 23,000. But WordPress, as you can see, just hugely dominant. 20% of all the sites surveyed were utilizing WordPress, which is great because even Google recommends WordPress as the most user-friendly content management system for hosting your websites. And then you had, so Joomla, Drupal pretty close. You had Blogger, Tumblr, DNN Software, Weebly, and then you had Wix, which is the free hosting solution brought to you by Wix. So Wix is also up there, but WordPress just dominates content management systems, this whole CMS landscape. Moving on, Builtwith also looked at e-commerce platforms and tried to check some sort of a correlation with e-commerce platforms and organic rankings. Again, the determinations were not conclusive. There was no correlation with what kind of an e-commerce system you were using with high rankings in Google or Bing for that matter. However, again, what's interesting to see is what are the popular e-commerce systems that are out there in the sample 1 million websites that the Builtwith study reviewed. And this is really interesting because Magento actually came out as the leader, and what was really surprising was the second spot, which went to GoDaddy's Quick Shopping Cart. We don't utilize GoDaddy's Quick Shopping Cart a lot, but it's definitely worth a second look based on its popularity. So Magento is the clear winner, which is great. It's actually a recommended solution when it comes to building complex e-commerce websites. The clients don't prefer Magento for a particular reason, especially when you are looking at 10 or 20 products, because it is an expensive hosting proposition, which is the reason why the clients go with something like an OS Commerce or a WooCommerce, which is a WordPress solution. We'll be talking about that in a second. But Magento came out as a clear winner when it came to sampling e-commerce sites and the popularity of e-commerce softwares. So you have Magento, and then closely followed by GoDaddy's Quick Shopping Cart, followed by OS Commerce, which is again an open source e-commerce solution, and then followed by WooCommerce, which is the plugin, the e-commerce plugin that you utilize for WordPress-based websites, followed by Volusion, BigCommerce, Yahoo Store, Zencart, Shopify, and Miva Merchant. But if you're looking at the top four, I'd say you're looking at Magento, GoDaddy's Quick Shopping Cart, OS Commerce, and WooCommerce. So these are the four most popular e-commerce sites or e-commerce platforms that are out there. For the ones that are interested in getting a more detailed review and reading up on this study, we provided the link at the bottom of the slide. So the study is showcased on Moz.com, and it's called the WebTech Builtwith study. And there's a lot more other interesting slides out there. I just picked up, the three that we thought would really pique our interest. But if you actually go to the link below, there's a lot more information on this link. Great, moving on. Let me hand this over. The slide's all about aligning sales and marketing. Armando always has some really cool information to share with us when it comes to more sort of like, the processes and the interaction with the IC and the clients. This week's no different. So at this stage, I'll hand over to Armando. All yours, Armando.
Oh, thank you, Anish. Great. Good to be back at the webinar, and definitely today we're going to talk about aligning sales and marketing. I chose to talk about this topic today, because of the fact that as the new year comes, I'm pretty sure that many of you will be meeting with the business owners, directors of marketing, or VPs of marketing of your existing clients or new clients, and it's a good time to kind of reiterate the importance of the sales team working with the marketing team. Now we can look at this topic in two different scenarios. One would be you as a digital marketeer working with the business owner and maybe one or two sales people in their business. So we're looking at a small business, small to mid-sized business. So in this case, you will take on the lead role of marketing. And for many ICs, as a matter of fact, this is the reality. They're pretty much the marketing arm for many companies, specifically when it comes to internet marketing. The second way you can look at this this topic, or these 5 tips on aligning sales and marketing, is you working directly with a director of marketing. If one of your clients is a larger organization, and pretty much you as a consultant work together or collaborate or direct to, if you want to a VP of marketing or director of marketing, this is the way that you can position your message to the director of marketing and his team. And the first key thing that that's very important to defining or aligning, sales and marketing, specifically in the new marketing world, is to really define and redesign the relationship of you as an internet marketeer with the sales team. And the whole point of this process is to specifically be able to educate if you're working with the sales team on what you are doing as an internet marketeer. And by conducting monthly or quarterly meetings with the sales team, what you're going to be doing is really educating them on the advancements or the projects or the programs or the campaigns that you're doing to generate brand awareness for the company in specific or any lead generation programs. Sometimes what ends up happening is that marketing and sales never meet, so as a result there's always that battle between marketing and sales, right? Through our performance consulting, sales consulting, we've noticed that if there's no communication between marketing and sales, the results are likely less to be successful, and there's no optimization of any type of lead generation that's done. So one of the things that in this article that I was reading is that you as a leader in the marketing side should be able to have these quarterly meetings with the sales team. Now again, it could be you working with 2 or 3 salespeople in a small organization, or you working with the director, influencing the director of marketing to develop these sales meetings, sales marketing collaboration meetings to define marketing and sales strategies, and definitely not only building relationship between the two sides, but at the same time being able to find out what sales really needs, sales requires, and how you can support them, right? So what are the digital marketing strategies that you're going to deploy in 2014 to help create brand awareness, help launch a new product line, a new service line, and at the same time, what tools can you provide them through webinars, white papers, optimized white papers, articles, content that they can use. So a part of it, apart from being on the website as a lead generation tool, how can they use it, right? And the thing that the author for this article recommends is that in your meetings, always ask for their participation, but at the same time, always highlight the fact that, highlight statistics on, the number of leads that have been generated via your own effort. And at the same time, gather their input and brainstorm ideas together. So this is very important that you should be doing with your clients at least once a quarter in getting their feedback. The second thing is very important. We kind of talk to our clients at ALM about this, which is a content calendar, and obviously we always get a bit of a resistance. My client has no time. They're busy. They don't want to. It becomes a bit of a frustration to some of the ICs, because yes, the client may not have the right time. Whether it's a director or an owner, they're not putting the efforts on the content calendar. However, in this case, what you may want to do is you create a process that makes it easy for all the members of the sales team to add topics to your content calendar. So apart from just working from one person, let's say if it's a small company and you're really getting all your content ideas from the owner of the business, maybe you turn back to the salesperson, right? One of the salesperson, and you assign. And maybe if he has 2 or 3 salespeople, you can then kind of assign a month for them to share their ideas, and you put it in a Google Docs where they can just add them, and from there you start kind of gathering that information. Right. Same thing if it's a large sales organization. You look at people that want to get involved in this area, and they want to develop a content calendar with you. But it's very important as you move forward that the type of content that you're creating, it's also supportive. It supports the sales initiatives, right? As well as your own digital marketing initiatives. So it's really important to get connected with the sales team to help them, expand the brand, generate more leads, and help them close more deals. So that's very important. The next one, that's also a very important one, and many organizations are not doing that. And you know what? They know that you are working with them and that you're developing an overall social media strategy for them, is for the sales team to get connected, right? You want to have an initiative in place to help or to educate salespeople within an organization on the value of the social tools and social networking, right? So perhaps you, in the past 6 months or the past year, you've been focusing a lot on developing social media, a social media strategy, implementing a social media strategy for the organization. Well, you know what? Now your job or your goal should be to also expand that to the sales team as well, whether it be 3 people or 10 people or 15. You're educating them on the value of social tools, and this can also lead. I know some ICs do this, and it's an additional form of revenue for them, a revenue generator, is training. Whether it be a workshop on Twitter, LinkedIn, whether it be a workshop on how they can leverage from LinkedIn as a tool for lead generation, and what you can provide them with, what type of tool. So this is very important. Again, it could be for 1 sales or 2 salespeople in a team or more, right? But you have to also get the sales team to get a little bit more connected, because in our age today, it's very important to not only have a social media strategy for the company, but also individual, right? And this is a good lead generation tool as well. Okay, so that's and you know what? Again, you as a digital marketeer have to encourage that, and you may have to take the lead on this and be able to have the flexibility to work with the team. So it kind of goes with the next one, which is training. Giving the sales team the content they need to prepare, the conversion rates. One of the key things that the author talks about here is that in your training with the sales team, whether it be for social media or just training them on how they can better use the website as a sales tool or presentation tool, you also want to, again, educate them on the importance of how they can increase their conversions through webinars, through white papers, right? So these are things that could be outside of the standard SEO plan that you have your client on, and could be additional opportunities for you, which is an aspect of training. And the last thing that he talks about in aligning sales and marketing is, at the end of the day, you want to show the sales team, you want to make them believers, right? And in order to do that, you always want to come back to the fact that the leads that are being generated, or the requests that are being generated online, what's happening, how many of those are actually turning into sales. So it's very important that in your process, perhaps many of your clients today don't have conversion tools to measure that. Well, maybe in 2014 you take them to that level where you're measuring, you're not just generating traffic or brand awareness, but how many telephone inquiries or online inquiries are coming through, and how many of those are actually turning into sales, right? Because that will help you continue to push or influence their marketing strategy, but at the same time, it will prove that to them that online marketing does work. So this is very important, because it's going to help everybody in whether it be sales and marketing work together to improve on the number of conversions that happen by communicating and collaborating together. So these are simple tips that I know many of you have talked to me about in the past 6 months, and some of you actually are very active and others aren't. But it's just kind of going back to the basics. In 2014, if you're meeting with the owner of the business or a director of marketing, these are things that you can talk to them about for 2014. Vinesh,
Excellent.
Anything you may want to add?
No, I mean, it's really important to align sales and marketing. And a lot of the times, and I've kind of seen this myself in organizations that I've worked with or associated with in the past, sales and marketing normally are daggers drawn. It's a love-hate relationship, but it shouldn't be like that. And the whole idea is to have a good sort of like an understanding between sales and marketing, understand KPIs, understand deliverables on both ends, and support each other so as to make a difference to the KPIs for the company, the division, or the department. And it becomes that much more challenging when a lot of the ICs go in as marketers, and they have sort of like a very aggressive VP of sales or a VP of marketing sitting on the other side. So the job is twofold. On the one side, you have to change the guy's paradigm, change the mindset, get him to be a believer, and then on the other side, you also have to get the work done. So it's sort of like a dual challenge that the ICs have, because they're outsiders, so they don't really have the same trust level. So they have to kind of win the trust level over, and then go in there and establish all these metrics, and then make sure that sales and marketing kind of work together. So it's sort of like a dual challenge to the ICs, and a very important topic to address, Armando. So that was great. Excellent.
Okay, thanks.
Great. Thanks for that, Armando. So moving on, we have a really exciting tool for you again this week that we're going to be reviewing in a second. It's called the Link Prospector tool, and this is again brought to us by a company called Citation Labs. And we showcased another tool that we utilize, which is called WhiteSpark. And we utilize WhiteSpark quite aggressively so as to look at potential local citations that we can be generating for our clients in local markets. So the WhiteSpark Citation Finder tool is great specifically for citations, specifically for signing local sites in local, in specific industries and specific verticals. One of the things that we pride ourselves at WSILM is that we like to be transparent. And this is a culture that we've taken on from looking at the success of companies like Moz, Rand Fishkin's company, where he has been totally transparent from day one when it comes to Moz, how it was developed, how it's evolving, as a company. And taking a page off that book at WSILM, we want to really educate the ICs on how we do the work at ALM so that you have a good understanding of how our processes work, what sort of tools are we utilizing, and keeping up with the industry best practices, because at the end of the day, we essentially work for you. So we want to make sure that you have complete faith and confidence in our processes, and we're always open to feedback and suggestions. So if you feel that there is a particular process that can be done better, or a tool that's being utilized but there's something else that can be done, we're always open and encourage a lot of feedback and participation. But from our perspective, it's very important for a lot of transparency when it comes to how we do the work. A lot of the work that we do utilizes these tools that we're showcasing in our weekly webinars. So that's one of the aims for showcasing the tools, is so that you have a good idea of how ALM works in the back end and the kind of tools that we use so as to get the job done. So one of the tools that we're reviewing is the Link Prospector tool brought to us by Citation Labs. So let's take a quick look at a demo of this tool. This is the homepage, linkprospector.citationlabs.com. You click on login, brings you to the login page, and then I'm just going to log in really quick. So once you log in, very simple sort of an interface that they have. So they have campaigns, prospects, exclusions, profile, right? So now you want to find prospects, and you want to basically save the prospects and the information that you find. So what you can do is you can set up campaigns. So let's say that I set up a new campaign related to one of our clients. So let's say it's a lawyer based out of New York. So let's just go lawyer in New York, and we create this campaign. Just hit create campaign. So as you can see, the campaign lawyer in New York has been created. You can now create reports to this campaign. Now here's the beautiful part with Link Prospector. So when you click on find prospects, you can actually select, the first thing it allows you to do is select your report type, and this is just amazing. So let me actually click on this select report type option and look at the amount of searches or prospects that this Links Prospector tool can find for you. So it allows you to discover guest postings. So you can discover blogs that allow for guest posts and offer your writing services. So it's gonna, if you choose the guest posting option, the tool's gonna go out there and look for guest posting opportunities related to your vertical, your client's vertical. Links pages, find the resources on the link pages that will add a link to your clients or your website. So it scours for pages that are accepting links in their resource sections, so that's a good opportunity to basically pitch to the webmaster of that company so as to get your clients or your own site added on as a resource. Content promoters. So if you choose a content promoters option, it finds writers for you that are likely to cover your story, and these are primarily writers or journalists that are related to that vertical, to that industry. Reviews, look for people that review products or services in your space. I'd kind of stay away from that review part a little bit, because we all saw what happened to Yelp. And Yelp did a lawsuit, and it basically fined people and sued them for fake artificial reviews. So the review tool, I'd be a little careful with. Use that at your own discretion. Giveaways, offer goods for services for use in contests. There's a lot of companies, there's a lot of sites that are out there that are looking for stuff to give away. This is a great promotional piece so as to get links, good quality links, as well as good PR for your client. Donations. always be charitable, earn links through sponsorship opportunities. So if you choose the donations tab, it's going to go out there and it's going to look for sites that are accepting donations. Commenting. So when you click on the commenting tab, it's going to look for sites that are accepting comments that are related to your client's vertical, so that you can join in the conversation and then get a nice little backlink to your website based on commenting. Now, a lot of the blog commenting sites have a no-follow as far as their website is concerned, so the benefit might not be directly with respect to a link that you're coming back, that's getting back to your website. However, you're also getting a lot of brand awareness. And the perfect example of blog commenting really working is, the guy that comes to my mind is an Italian guy called Gianluca. Gianluca made his entire name in the industry by just commenting on posts on Moz. That's all he did. I mean, he will basically look at the content that was being posted on UMoz, on Rand's blog, and then he'd put in comments that were really interesting and insightful related to the topic at hand. And that's how he got noticed and he got really famous. And he's generated a lot of business for himself. His name's Gianluca, and you can look him up. He's generated a lot of business just strictly following this practice of commenting and build a brand for himself. Expert interviews, so you can actually identify domain experts that you can interview or pitch to. These are individuals that are interested to do interviews, so you can definitely utilize this tab. Directories, all in all, directories are not bad as long as they're relevant, as long as they're targeted for the vertical that you're looking for. It's not bad to have your site listed in that directory. So what's bad is stuff like free-web-directory.com. That's a bad directory to be a part of. But if you're looking at quality directories, good resources that you want to have your client site be a part of, it's great. Directories are a great option to build links. The same thing goes for forums. And then you can look at blogs. You can look at professional organizations that this tool can identify for you, research, and then there's even a custom tab, so you can actually use any amount of research phrases that you want if you choose a custom tab, and it's going to run the search for you. So if for example's sake, let's say if you're looking for guest posting opportunities. So I click on the guest posting tab, right? And then I click on research phrases, lawyer, New York. Let's go DUI, lawyer, New York. Let's go personal injury lawyer, New York. Yeah, and then just submit it. And then let's take a look at report name. So we gotta name the report. So a law firm, guest posting search, law firm New York, guest posting search, and then you hit submit. And what this tool is going to do is that it's basically processing your request. Now we've run a search already in the past, so I'm going to pull that up for the sake of time for everybody. So we ran a report for one of our clients, Plan Canada, which is a huge child sponsorship organization based out of Canada, and they're only second to World Vision. And so we ran a report for them so as to identify directly related prospects for Plan Canada. So we wanted to find directories, charity and nonprofit related directories that we can potentially have our client's website included in. So what you do is you click on that report and look at all the results that it's pumped out for me. So it's basically identified over 2,200 directories, directory opportunities that our client site can be a part of. As you can see, you can look at the domains, and the good part is that it actually sorts it out by Google PageRank, a link target score, and what the TLD is. Like, is it a .org, is it a .com, etc., etc. It also gives you the ability to export these domains. You can also add in the SEO Moz domain authority. So a lot of the ICs utilize SEO Moz domains authority as an index so as to see how good a website is. So if you just click on add SEO Moz DA, it actually adds in the domain authority score that Moz assigns these different websites. And then now you can take a look at these sites. And as you can see, they're pretty relevant. I mean, GuideStar, Charity Choice, .co.uk, Charity Village, Charity Navigator, Yahoo's directory, donationtown.org, BBB, of course, Idealist, charity-charities.org. So you can then sort and play around with this the data that's been made available to you, sorted by domain authority, sorted by page rank. If there's certain top-level domains that you want to exclude, like you don't want to have .orgs, they have a very nice a filter a tab over here, so you can actually filter all this data that you've just obtained from this tool by playing around with setting up different filters and paths and really narrowing down the data. So great, fantastic tool for identifying prospecting link opportunities. I want to see if it actually ran that for our lawyers. So let's go back to our campaigns. So let's click on Lawyers New York. Great, so it did. So look, so we did the law firm New York search. Guest posting is what we were looking for. All potential guest posting searches that are available. It's identified the 1,260 prospects for us that are potentially utilizing a guest posting and are an opportunity for our client. All you do is you click on law firm New York, and then you scroll down, and then you want to add the SEMO's domain authority rank to it, because you want to sort by domain authority. And then you have all of these different websites, Just Security, Law in the Multiverse, uBlog. So it requires a little bit of cleanup. Not all of these 2,200 sites are going to be relevant for your client, but the fact of the matter is that you have a lot of raw data to work with, and then you can just kind of narrow it down based on this raw data that you have, and then pick and choose sites that are highly relevant for your client, and then utilize them for link building opportunities. So fantastic tool. It's the Link Prospector tool by Citation Labs. And as I mentioned to you, the opportunities in terms of identifying links are immense. There's over 15 different fields that it allows you to search. Does all the labor-intensive hard work for you. Returns you a nice little raw list of prospects that you can go after in terms of link building, and then you can identify and prioritize the links that you want to go after based on the link prospector information that's been circulated to you. Great. So I hope you found this tool useful. Again, a little bit about us. I think everybody knows who we are by now, so we just kind of skip that. Some of our clients, we still have the infographic promotion for everybody's benefit, so if you want to utilize that, please get in touch with us. And then, of course, our contact information are right here. Great. Let's move on to questions. I'm going to open up the questions tab. Juan Carlos had an issue with the webinar sound, but it's fixed. Juan Carlos has another question with regards to do we need to subscribe, pay to use this tool? That's right, Juan. You do need to pay for this tool, but it's a pretty reasonable fee. I believe it's like $30 or $35 a month, and definitely well worth it if you have a lot of clients that you need to prospect links for. So definitely well worth the price that you pay for this tool. Just checking to see if you have any other questions. Nope, I think no other questions. Great. Thanks everyone for joining us for this edition of our LaunchPad webinar series. Hope you found this useful, and we'll see all of you next week. Great, thank you.